you have a separate desk for
when I'm doing messy stuff.
painting and stuff, and this is where the digital workspace is.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually wanted to study art and illustration and actually even fine arts when I started, I think, uni.
Okay.
When I applied, that was my goal. But then I got there and then I was with my grandfather and he was like, what kind of a future will you have
Same story.
if you take art? So we were literally walking in the corridor and he saw this random new program, which was EU Relations. And I was like, that sounds good. I was like, okay. And
EU Relations?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually wrote that down. It's pretty much like diplomacy. So I majored in international relations with a minor in Hispanic studies. 3 years that I was doing unrelated jobs, mostly in sales and marketing, I found myself always somehow floating back to the design aspect or the art aspect of whatever I was doing. Yeah, because my family is like, my dad is in sales now in the States.
Okay.
But growing up, it was him, my uncle, one uncle on his side, and 2 uncles on my mom's side that were constantly into comics and drawing.
Okay, so you were surrounded by artists.
Exactly.
Okay.
Repressed artists.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I was going through one of their notebooks and I saw this really amazing pencil sketch of Cyborg Superman.
Wow.
And it was done with watercolor and pencil. And I was like, I'm gonna do this one day.
Were they freelancing or what?
No, they were all bankers, real estate.
So they were doing those on the
sales,
side.
Like, just for love.
Okay.
So in the back of my head, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this out of spite. I'm gonna be broke, but I'm gonna make a living.
Oh my god.
So-
Okay.
So I ended up living off of the savings that I had for the short career that I had in different industries and whatever. And I lived in Jakarta for about 5 months, trying my hand at both doing my old job to sustain myself and also kind of starting to reach out to different people. I got lucky actually because one of my first big jobs was with a World Bank project in Belize. And I was like, what? That was able to sustain the rest of my stay in Indonesia, you know? A few other people that influenced me were the daily comics in the newspaper in the Inquirer.
Just Andrea.
What was the comic that you made again?
Shit.
But like, on top of my head, I would say Pugad Baboy.
Pugad Baboy, yeah.
What's Kiko Machine? Jerry Arandina? No,
Jerry
but he
Machine.
was like, he was one of the
Yeah.
Filipinos that were
Oh,
working
yeah,
on
yeah,
Marvel, and
yeah.
I was like, and I was like, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm still not,
Okay.
but I'm gonna get there. In high school, I went to school with this girl. Her name is Don Carlos, and if she sees this, cool. If not, whatever. We used to draw together because she
Okay.
was kind of like, she didn't really have that many friends in Saintsco in Manila because she moved from LA, and she was so skilled. And I was like, damn, I want to be like this girl. But now she's a freaking lead artist in Warner Brothers.
Really?
And I was like, yes, finally, like legit inspiration. And then college, I see this other dude. You probably know him, Rob Chan. I don't think he was in an art-related course either, but he started posting comics on Facebook, and I was like, this is weird. I really like it. And then now he's like, he has all of these comics, and I'm like, damn, why can't I just do that? And at that time, I was already considering leaving my job.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
you really consume a lot of graphic novels. Like graphic novels and comics is really your thing.
That's like that's my dream. Like if I could improve on how I storyboard, how I like create stories, how I write, and whatever, and if I could go back to school for it just to improve on what I know or learn the basics, I would.
Okay.
But it's so expensive.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of what I know is either coming from people who are kind enough to mentor me, or courses,
Yeah.
or I save enough for, let's say, an online course, and I try to do a workshop or two, and yeah.
Okay. How did that happen? So there was a job posting or?
I'm part of a few subreddits, and I usually
Okay.
just interact with a lot of people. So if someone's like throwing around an idea, it's like, I have an idea for a comic, blah, 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 I'm gonna reply. This time around, I was saying, hey, I want to collaborate with writers. If you have a finished story, like a short one, like maybe 15 pages or less, I'm gonna draw it for you, and then we split the profits. Luckily, I picked the one that actually already had a backing and like history and was connected to a publisher already in the UK.
Okay.
And then we went from there. But then I guess, I mean, it's lucky, but it's also like out of the maybe dozens of messages I always send out there, there's one that went back. So I guess if I didn't do that and put myself out there either, I wouldn't get anything.
And then you also think about the proportion of how many times you have to put yourself out there to get something that's really productive.
Exactly.
You know, so many times you can have a conversation with somebody and then nothing comes out.
Exactly.
I know this so well.
I know it so well.
It's not like when you go to America, where you have like Comic-Con in San Diego or whatever, New York, where all these people from different states come together in one state and like you're able to network with that many people. In the Philippines, you can do that, but I feel like it's still a bit small. Comic-Con in the Philippines has been happening for the last 10 to 15 years, and it's a very close-knit community as well. Another disadvantage would be, I think, the language barrier that is often misconceived by Western or European clients. If they don't actually see my face and speak on the phone first or emailing first because of my name, they think, okay, blah, 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 this is great. When we finally meet in person or like do face-to-face, they're usually, oh, your English is quite good. Do you understand what it means? You know, there's always... So I know they mean well when they say, you have great English. And I always want to reply, you too. You're speaking pretty decently for like an American, you know? And you're talking to clients, they would prefer to prioritize people from their hemisphere, which is natural, you know. But also they sometimes prioritize these people over, let's say, artists like you or me, mainly because of the time difference. And like the idea that, okay, we're from a developing country, we are too competitive, so the price cannot be right, you know, for the quality that we can deliver. The advantage of coming from a developing country and contributing to art in the world is that we are, adding a bit of color to an otherwise white male-dominated space. Because now I'm seeing more and more like female artists that are so good. And finally, you know, like there's you, Dennis Filipina, there's the friend I mentioned earlier, Don Carlos. There are these Mexican artists that I follow on Instagram, and there's this one girl that I really love, Alminder. She does Woman's World. I don't really know her real name, but that's her Instagram handle. She does Woman's World. And she's a woman of color, and she adds such really nice, diverse stories of just daily life. Oh my god, so many.
Try to clarify everything.
The first is that if I'm sitting in front of my computer all day, I'm not doing anything. When in fact, I spend a great amount of time looking at reference images, studying what would work best for a certain project, studying the subject I'm about to draw, etc., etc. Another is that you like what you're doing, so it's not really work. That's literally how most people sound. So since you're going to enjoy the project, you should do it for free, right?
Wink, wink.
Oh my god, the amount of times I've heard that said to me,
I feel ya.
Dude, I could have paid for art classes, you know what I mean? Because they think that we can draw something within 10 minutes, they're like, oh, it must have been easy. How long did it take you to make that? And I'm like, well, if this is said by many other artists I see online as well, that they say, well, I did this particular doodle in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but it took me 8 years to get here.
Exactly. So, like people underestimate the time that you put into your work, and also like how easy you're able to do your work. Okay.
So from your inner circle, there's the family, your friends. You're like, oh, you're an illustrator. Like, do you make enough? Are you literally a starving artist? Well, yeah, in a sense, they're right. So it's a half misconception.
Because in my case, people usually think being an illustrator and a graphic designer is the same thing. Or being an illustrator and a web designer is the same thing. So do you find that you have to explain the difference as well? Okay.
Exactly what you said. Like, many people think being an illustrator and graphic designer are the same thing. And I find that many, let's say project openings, job calls, or whatever, or stuff like that, they're looking for a graphic designer, but they're looking for someone to draw this. It's tough because, like, you want to be able to just say, oh, I'm an illustrator. Like, if you say I'm a plumber, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, there's so many different kinds of illustrators.
That too.
Well, the main things I think I struggle with right now is just being consistent in terms of getting the kind of work that I want to be doing. So I really enjoy doing digital paintings. I really enjoy doing like portrait work or like still images. That's because I came from a love of like the fine arts. But what pays are the jobs that please draw 5 camel heads for a t-shirt. And it's like, here's 150 pounds. I'm like, what? Sometimes I get, can you please draw my uncle for a Where is Waldo poster? And I'm like, sure.
Okay.
Because that's what pays.
Yeah.
So that's the struggle. It's like, I want to do the things I like to do, and there's still people that pay for that. But more people pay for the things that I can do, but don't particularly enjoy.
Well, but I get that. There's a disconnect between what you want to do and what actually pays.
Yeah,
exactly. But see, that's the other thing is because you're so skilled, you can do different styles, which is why also you can turn down these things. It would be so much easier if you can say, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But since you can, then you do it anyway. Yeah. And then you spend your time doing things that you can do that you're not.
Exactly.
Take in as many classes, take in as much information as you can, steal as much as you can, because art is theft. Just draw whatever you want to draw. Mm-hmm. Draw your neighbor, draw your dog, draw your table, and the more you draw the things around you, the better you get. So skill-wise, I think just drawing everything without overthinking that this is going to be a finished piece of work helps a lot. When it comes to creating pieces, unlike what I do, don't think of the perfect outcome right away. Just start doodling. Usually most of the magic comes from just getting into the process itself, and then things just start clicking. And that's when the best ideas happen. And self-promotion. Just be in every platform that you can constantly maintain. So a lot of people are saying be on every single platform.
Yeah, that's such good advice, okay.
So, I mean, that's great and all, and you're gonna come up in searches for sure. But if you're not constantly posting on all of these platforms, then what's the point? So focus on the few platforms that you can really put yourself into and engage with the people that are already engaging with you. If you can't come up with new content, share other content. Mm-hmm. So uplift other artists. I think most other artists would appreciate that, and they would probably do the same for you. So you're also giving value to your users where you're not just always shoving your work in their faces, but also giving them other nice stuff to think about. I think the works that I've been the most proud of aren't really the works that I publish.
Really?
It's the ones that I give to, or that I do for people that I love. I'm really proud of the sketches I've done of my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I'm really proud of this poster of Rick and Morty.
I love that.
That I did for my sister. I'm really proud of the blue JJ that I did for my dad, whose name is Jay.
Okay.
So I'm really proud of the personal stuff.
Okay.
But if it's work-wise, I guess I'm really proud of the comic that came out.
Yeah, that was like one of your breakthroughs for this year.
It was a really fucking wild learning experience. I was like, wow, I did not expect that it would take this much work. So I think that's it.
So what's the first step for anyone who wants to learn about these things? What do you think is the first step?
If you want to be an illustrator as your main career, as your main bread and butter, I think the first thing you need to do is realize that as much as you want to make it a passion project, you're running a business. And depending on how much money you've saved up or how ready you are to delve into it with no connections at all, you have to be flexible in what you do. So if you want to just keep drawing furries, that's great for you. There's actually a great market for that. Mm-hmm. But if you want to break into the world of commercial, design and stuff like that, then you have to be flexible enough to forget what you think you know and flexible enough to learn from other people doing the exact same things you do. But if you're coming from the Philippines or some other developing country like me, think about what you need to survive every month. Mm-hmm. Divide that into the number of hours you want to work a week, as well as the amount of money you need to save per month.
Nice, it's a good formula.
Yeah, it's just a basic one, but then you can start with this, and then once you get more clients, you can
charge up.
Cool. Awesome. I have so much material. I'm happy. I think I'd like to spend the rest of the day just like editing this.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much, Aisha.
You're
This is
welcome.
for regroup maybe next year and talk about other stuff.
Woohoo.
Yay. Thanks.